We're going to create a Redis cache in the Azure portal today. To start with, we're going to log into the portal, and that's what I've already done here. Once we're logged into the portal, we're going to want to click on Create a New Resource, and in the search, we're going to type in Redis. One of the first options should be something that says Redis Cache. You'll be presented with a page similar to this, and at the bottom, we're going to go ahead and click Create. This will bring us to the new Redis Cache blade. This DNS name is the name of your Redis cache, as well as it will be the fully qualified domain name in which to access this cache from any of your client applications. For today, we'll call this Redis Demo 23. And Azure will check and make sure that that name is valid and gives us that green checkbox. For this, we'll create a new resource group and we'll call it our Redis Cache resource group. And then our location, we generally want to make that as close to our application as possible. Since I'm out of Seattle, we'll pick West US 2 since that is somewhere in Washington State. And then the next step is our pricing tier. So we've got a P4 Premium on the high end, which gives us 53 gigabytes of cache with some replication. Or we can go down to our basic for $16 a month. And this is kind of the great place to get started, especially when you're doing it for your development environment and you don't need a cache larger than 1/4 of a gigabyte. So we'll go ahead and select basic for today, but feel free to select whichever one meets your budget and performance needs. And then with this, once you select a pricing tier, the rest of these will be unavailable if you're not on the premium tier. And then finally, this on-block port 6379, that's the traditional Redis port, but it's not encrypted. So Azure has everything going over 6380. Really, the only time you're going to want to uncheck this is if you have a legacy application that can't support SSL over your Redis connection. And then once you have all of this filled out, it should look very similar to this, and then go ahead and click Create. It'll go through and validate all of this information, and then it'll give us our nice little message that says deployment in progress. Now this process takes about 10 to 20 minutes, just depending on what else is going on in that Azure data center. And as we can see here, the deployment has succeeded. We can go ahead and pin this to the dashboard, which will then give us a tile right here, as well as we're able to click Go to Resource and actually see the Redis cache we've created. We can close out our notification window. And then we'll see that we have our Redis Cache Demo 23 all set up. And then to actually access the cache, we're going to take a look at our access keys. So Redis Cache uses a overall password to access it, and this gives you full access to that cache. So they give you a primary and secondary password. And then if you're doing .NET development, you can use the Stack Exchange Redis client, and this gives you the full connection string to actually connect to that. And then the other thing we're able to do is actually go into our console. And this is a preview console of the Redis cache. And we can do things like type out keys with an asterisk. And this will list out all of the keys that are in here. And what we're seeing is that we have nothing set in our cache currently. But this is where we can actually interact directly with the cache on Azure. Thank you for watching. I'm Andrew Cook, and this has been Creating an Azure Redis Cache.